welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Jeff Fischer.
Donovan.
Me, Todd Novak. And special guest knob number 1,
Jared Brandon.
And special guest knob number 2, that's you.
It's Derek Asuan-O Brien.
That's awesome.
Derek O'Brien of Lincoln Guitars. Undoubtedly, anybody listening has most assuredly seen the beautiful guitars that he creates on Instagram and elsewhere. And we are super crazy excited to talk to him today. So much so that we're not going to talk to him right away. First, we're going to talk about, what we have going on in our own music worlds today, as per usual. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're doing this episode finally. Okay, Hefe, go.
I'm still waiting for Jay to return my gear. That's what's new.
He's not doing anything new because I still have all this stuff.
Not all of it, but some of it.
Most of it.
So, still waiting for it. That's
several of it.
Feels so dirty.
It better not be dirty when it comes back.
Well, the cat didn't pee on it.
Yeah, all right.
But the dog did.
There's still time.
No, I'm just kidding. The cat peed on Todd's guitar, though.
Many cats peed on my stuff.
I think so.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Oof. Although I think I might have saved Stinky. I got a little Febreze on that action, and I think it's working
good, man.
It might.
You got to get that cat urine removal stuff.
I don't even have a cat. That's
Just go to the
crazy
pet
thing.
store.
You need to throw that base into the bottom of the ocean, into the core of the earth. That's the only way.
Let's melt it down.
Yeah. Oh, hey, speaking of bottom of the ocean, I watched the Jim Gaffigan special last night. Holy crap. His bit about crabs, I was crying. I was absolutely crying. If anybody hasn't seen that on Netflix, I'm not affiliated with Jim Gaffigan in any way. Watch it. Oh my gosh, it's hysterical. Anyways, okay, Jared, what do you got?
Well, it's not
Besides the space echo. I really hope that doesn't show up on the actual record.
It will. Oh, yeah. Space Echo, special guest Echo is what we call it.
Hey, as long as you can understand me.
It's going to be so weird.
So if no one's listened to the last episode, I build pickups. And what's new in my world is I discovered that in the mid '60s, Gibson put some magnets in their pickups that are orientated the wrong way.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's pretty much new in my guitar world.
Okay, wait a minute. Like what kind of... Elaborate.
Okay, you've got bar magnets for humbuckers. And the long, skinny side that emits a magnification to both coils, the way the thing's built.
You had Jay at long and skinny.
Right.
Whoa, dude, holy moly, my ears are blowing me out.
No,
So
the plan.
So the magnet orientation is just it's on the two ends and not the correct side. So the magnet's not going to work correctly. So
yeah. Okay, so you're on the job. You're going to fix that. You're going to.
Well, of course, I already fixed it and sent it back to the customer, but it's very true, and frankly, I can't believe it got past the quality check if there was one in '65.
Wow, maybe there's something happening on television or something, and they all took a break. Maybe it's just a long lunch break.
I don't know.
Jeff is definitely trying to slip a microphone condom onto the without anybody knowing.
A windscreen.
Let's just do it real fast all at once.
You hear it?
That
Anybody hear
sounds
it?
terrible. What are you guys doing?
Oh, you did it without hearing it. That's good.
Yeah.
And what did you want? More volume? Or less volume?
Yeah, Jay was like
Well, I got really close
holy
to
mackerel.
it. Here, I'll stand back a little
Yeah,
bit.
just
How's
stand.
that?
Just stay back there.
Don't touch any
Well, but
dials.
we need your good metering on here.
Yeah, meter him.
Meter me?
Meter me. Okay. Wait, so in Jeff's, did we just cover off on Jay's too?
No.
Okay, what's yours, dude?
I've been on, how lately I've been going on these, you know how on Wikipedia it's link to link. You follow links and
the link wormhole.
And you waste like 2 hours of your life.
Right.
But you learn things, right? So
Yes.
it's good. I had another YouTube wormhole, earworm, whatever you said. Wait, what did you say?
Wormhole.
Wormhole.
And an earworm is when you hear
Right, and it gets
something and you
stuck in
can't
your-
get, you know.
Right, so-
stand
okay.
back, like that.
Thank you very much. No, I was I was on a Sly and the Family Stone. Like, for some reason, I looked them up playing at I Want to Take You Higher at Comfest. And so then I went on this little adventure finding out who the next, the bass player that replaced Larry Graham was this dude named Rusty Allen. And then I saw this amp he was playing. I was like, yeah, that's a Peavey. And this is in like the early 70s.
Oh,
and
the old Peavey stuff is good.
Yeah, but I have a hate relationship with Peavey because I used to have this huge 15, 16 bass cabinet that was so horrible. The one that I hated, and I was like, maybe it'll just break and die, but it never did.
Interesting.
It was so strong. So anyway, I think he was playing a bass 400, which I think was solid state, which I don't, it's not so great, but I think they called it trans tube technology. So I learned that's what's new, is I learned about trans tube technology, which is, I think, solid state. That's it.
Oh.
It didn't really, if you were expecting
wow, that was really anticlimactic.
this arc of this story to keep going up.
Trans tube technology. Oh, it's solid state. Okay.
Yep.
But that's a white leather and white grill.
Yeah, and
Peavey.
I couldn't really find. I think it must have been
That is funky.
Rusty Allen's custom. I
Wow.
don't really see too many white ones.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing. That's good.
That's all this
That's Sly and the Family Stone's first appearance on this show.
Won't be the
Interesting.
last.
Yeah.
I wonder if that white kept its color.
Yeah, it's
I don't
probably
know.
like yellowish
Yeah.
by now.
It's like
That's
cat
probably
pee.
nasty. Let's see. Let's go over to Derek. Derek, what is new in your music world this time in your life and this time period? I try not to say week because it's okay. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
It's
What's
time.
new? What's new? Uh-oh.
And goodbye. That was awesome.
Oh boy!
Did it hang up?
What the hell just happened? Hello? Okay, hang on. Let's get it back. He was really hating this interview.
The timing was so perfect, man.
Oh man!
We'll start over with the fresh call in. Here we go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we should keep that.
I think we shall. If he answers.
Okay.
We got.
Yeah, this
we got
is real.
everyone-
We don't
everyone
have
is working.
text. We don't have a bunch of hired people doing this for us. Okay, Derek,
Legit.
what is going on? Please don't hang up. What is going on
Please don't hang up,
in your
please.
music world right now?
Honestly, not that much. I've just been working so much. I haven't really gotten a chance to look into.
Well,
It's
that
not very
counts.
exciting.
But your music
Yeah.
world is our music world, really, because you're the one who's making those things. So,
It's just a lot of process stuff, really. It's sort of a combination of. Right now, I'm just trying not to get kind of looking into casting some aluminum for some parts, and that's been trying not to burn the shop down.
that's cool.
Yeah,
Like molten, like you have a smelter and are like pouring.
yeah. It's
Metal?
super boot. It's super. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
No, it's pretty bootleg and hasn't been successful yet.
Is this for like just hardware you're talking about?
Yeah. Just trying to make more and more of the actual parts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's if it works out, it's going to be awesome.
That's super cool.
It's so much better when you can say your product's made in house, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to have like kind of as few sort of off the shelf pieces
Yeah.
as possible. Yeah.
So then you have to probably mill all that down and whatnot, right? To mill it to shape, or is it all
No,
done?
he's
by-
casting it.
So
Yeah.
but usually there's something you gotta clean it up. No.
Yeah, kind of trying that sort of there's a couple different processes. There's that kind of like lost wax one and just sand casting and I think it'll come along, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it, get it the least sort of grainy and kind of. As of right now, it's more trying to sand things out than actual pieces coming.
Oh. Well, we look forward to hearing and seeing what that's all about. You have
It's
to give us a
getting there,
report back.
Yeah, I mean, if I tell you the shop burned down, you'll know why.
Just don't make like skull knobs or something. Don't.
No, none of that. No, trying to make like a kind of a vibrato sort of kind of TK Smithy.
Just so you know, the Minister of Information here is scrolling your site and just got to the Speedboat Sparkle Blue, and Brandon just lost his mind.
Me like
Oh,
He loves.
I'm glad.
He loves the sparkle.
That I'm glad. Sadly, that one's kind of having to hang out for a little bit because it was supposed to be a demo, but I'm trying to catch up on some orders right now. So it's just sitting here taunting me, being very, very sparkly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's pretty sparkly.
Man, oh man.
catches your eye. That's for
Golly.
sure.
Well, okay. I'm just wow. Okay. Hey, ask me what I did. Ask me.
So, Todd,
What would you do?
what did you do? What's new with you?
Well, okay. So we've been mentioning how I got this new amp from that Dave Harris built me, and I've been on the search for a cabinet or either to build the cabinet, and we don't have to talk about it anymore.
So we're not building a cabinet.
No, I should have told you that. I bought one.
I figured that out. Which is fine.
I was about to throw in the towel and buy one of the empty cabinets off of I think off of Amazon. It was like $150 and then like $20 shipping, and I really didn't want to do that. But I was running out of stuff because I got a show coming up, and I'm like, I got to pull the trigger. I got to do something. And I almost bought the speakers, but I was holding out because something in my gut was like, don't do it, dude. And then I pulled open Craigslist, and like, I do every 5 minutes, and I just happened to pull it up, and this guy had a mint condition 212 Carvin cabinet with Celestion vintage 30s in it, and he sold it to me for a price that I could not refuse. It was cheaper than the cabinet. And so I set that up, and it is pretty sweet. It came with the cover and everything, so I'm really stoked.
Nice.
Extremely, it's just super well made. It's like brand new.
So tell us about the sound. Since now this is the first time you really got to play it.
I know. I finally got to play it. Like I've had the amp
month.
for a month.
What do you think?
Oh, it's like pure horsepower. It's crazy. That 14 watt amp, it smokes my Vox. It's and it is clear. It is just clarity. It sounds like each guitar sounds completely on its own. It doesn't sound like it's being played out of a Vox, which I love that sound. It's just a different sound. And I wanted something that was just like take all the other sounds away from except what the guitar and or the speakers sound like, and that's what I got.
So, how do you? I mean, are you putting it next to your? Do you have a combo, or do you have just a head?
No, so I've got a small lunchbox head, and now the 212. But the 212 is actually relative. It's almost the same size as my AC-15, which is crazy to think about. Like the space on either side of those speakers, like 3/4 of an inch. I mean, they have that thing so snug in there. And it's got a metal grill, but not like a hairband metal grill. It's like a really nice, like,
So I'm looking at this image here.
Yes.
Are you going to have to move the handle and stuff?
The 212V. No, just the amp has feet, and it sits right on top of it. But the cool thing is, it's got feet. The actual cabinet has feet to set it either lengthwise or stand on end, which is cool because then you get a projection up towards you. Because otherwise, I'm going to put it on my stand so I can
tilt it.
My ankles don't need to hear what my amp sounds like. I need to hear it. So, anyways, that's that. La.
So you're happy with it?
Quest is over. Yes.
Think so?
I think so. I mean, It's got
Yeah.
V30s in it, man.
I'm not just talking about the cabinet. I'm talking about the whole setup now. I mean,
I just need a whole lot more pedals.
right.
Yes, but
Jeff, you look relieved.
always the key.
We'll
And
talk
probably
about-
some new pickups.
Oh yeah,
And probably a new guitar.
Yo, all those things. Yeah. If only I knew somebody that had. Oh, Jared Brandon's in the house. He makes pickups.
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Talk around me, guys. I'm here.
Yeah, and then at some point in time, I hope to have a Lincoln hanging in my room. That I'm just in love with these
They
things.
are gorgeous.
If only we had the guy from Lincoln to talk to about that. Oh,
man.
hey. Okay, so with that, we covered everybody, right? I think so, right?
Yes,
Aaron? Okay. So we're talking to Derek O'Brien of Lincoln Guitars. And the reason we are doing that is because I spend a lot of time on Instagram, as most of us who are into guitars do, or whatever you're into, I guess. It's on Instagram. But we all know that the guitar world is exploded on Instagram. And I recall just kind of flipping through and seeing this one model guitar, and I'm trying to remember what click on that one.
That one?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the model. I wrote, actually, Derek, I wrote you immediately when I saw that. I was like,
Oh.
holy crap, that might be the sweetest guitar I've seen, and I can't even remember how long. It's the
thank you.
the red back, black
Oh,
Bixby.
black flat with the Bigsby, like the offset. Oh,
yeah, I love that one.
oh man, it just tickled my toenails. Anyways, so I said, actually, you, believe it or not, were one of the catalysts for how we kind of went about choosing people that we wanted to talk to. It just has taken a really long time for us to connect, but I'm glad we are.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I saw your work and I said, this is the kind of stuff that I want to feature on this show. I want to talk to people who make amazing things, who are injecting their own voice. I have a lot of respect for anybody who's making anything, period. I have so much more if it is being made with one's own voice injected into it. And, you know, aside from straight up copying something else, like, yes, your craft still is there. I appreciate that. But if you're able to find a unique voice and share that, I'm just, that it deserves to be on what somebody that we're talking to. So I'm going to turn it over to Derek to talk about how this all started, and, you know, all that good stuff about Lincoln Guitars and how you got the name and all that stuff. So, Derek, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry it took a while, but yeah, my name's Derek. The actual company Lincoln's only been around for kind of a little under a year, but I've been building for about 15 years for other companies. Yeah, it was. My background is really in sort of violin family instruments. The first place I sort of apprenticed was this company called King Double Bass, which is now Blast Cult. And their whole thing was really just sort of upright basses and, you know, the occasional cello. And it was all just sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize these.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a big double bass player here.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, he needs a ladder
no.
for it, but I mean, he loves to play it.
Yeah. They take up some room. But no, I loved it there, and I was there for about 6 years, kind of on and off. And yeah, and then they started making guitars, and I was kind of there for when everybody was sort of learning how to build guitars over there. And we did it the sort of worst way possible, which was to get the most complicated book there is, which was the Benedetto book. So the first guitar I ever made was a neck through hollow body with the body orbiting the neck.
Jeez.
God.
And it almost killed us, man. It was like quadruple bound, and it was all this.
Holy smokes.
It came out really nice, but there was quite a few smashed sort of prototypes
Wow.
to try to get it there. But yeah, that's basically where I learned how to do pretty much everything kind of initially. And they were Jason, who runs Blast Cult and King Double Bass, when it was King Double Bass. Like, he was a big sort of hot rod guy. And that's where kind of the paint jobs came from. And it was, it's basically where I learned how to paint. And that's, I've been trying to, like you brought up that blue sparkle one, and that was kind of very much in the same vein as what they would do.
Yeah.
And
as
then
I'm looking at all this stuff, I can see as we look at the bases and we look at these books, I can kind of see.
There's a little hot rod influence.
Yeah, there's like this 50. Yeah, we can just kind of see where it's.
Oh, it's translated over.
To your.
yeah. No, that
cool.
stuff definitely sticks, But yeah, and it was just all the, it was very much sort of, 50s design stuff that was, sort of very much browbeaten into me.
Yeah.
And then when I left King, I went to work for Michael Spalt, who does Spalt Instruments. And he did this sort of very kind of specific sort of curio box, kind of top like potted in resin guitars.
Oh, right.
Like a lot of sort of found objects. And that, I actually wasn't there very long. I was only there about a year. But Michael over there, that guy is probably like the best luthier I've ever met. And he did a lot of repair at a place called LA Guitar Garage, which I feel like the repair was more helpful than a lot of things, because you kind of got to see every type of guitar that comes through.
Right.
And kind of can see the sort of where something's going to break, when it will break, and kind of ideas that didn't work out. And I think the repair kind of had a lot to do with how the guitars got designed for Lincoln, because it's, if you look at them, they're pretty minimal. There's some exceptions where we kind of pack everything in there, but a lot of it is the idea of, the less moving parts, the better.
Yeah.
Sort of just, just indestructible, really. That's the hope, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they are there's a minimalism there, but the sheen and the it's just right.
Yeah.
It's just right.
So
Yeah,
tell us about your work. So now you're at Lincoln,
Yes.
and is that just you? Is that a group of people? Tell us about that.
It's basically just me. I have some friends, like other builders in town, that will help me out occasionally when I get swamped, like with kind of setups,
Right.
things like that, just trying to get something out the door. I have kind of a shared shop space with my friend Matt Needham from Needham Guitars. And he's really sort of, I always try to credit him a lot with kind of design stuff, because he really gets a lot of texts in the middle of the night from me of drawings and ideas, and
Yeah.
it's kind of a good sounding board if I'm on the wrong track, which often I am. So that guy really, and it's been nice kind of sharing a shop space
That's cool.
with him. Yeah.
That's cool. So you are the founder. I didn't want to misspeak and call you the founder of Lincoln Guitars, but you in fact are the founder of Lincoln Guitars.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I was a little worried when you started talking. I was like, wait. Have I misunderstood this completely? And there's like a whole company
Right.
behind.
No, I'm their PR guy, and they have it's a team of dozens, slowly churning out guitars.
Well, import it from China.
So, and right now you are, like what kind of volume are you typically doing?
It's really small.
So is it like one-off guitars, or you make a batch and sell them off? And
It's
then,
about it's about 2 to 3 guitars a month.
okay.
That's
No, they've
seems pretty
basically
fast,
all
actually.
been made to order. Yeah, it's when I sort of the beginning of the year, I kind of wasn't opening it up for sales. Like there was just a few months of, I was just making bodies and necks, and then kind of sort of preparing, for what would be sort of kind of a standard run.
Yeah.
So for a second, I had some backstock of kind of bodies and necks, but I kind of burned through those pretty quickly.
Yeah. What was the one?
Yeah,
what was the
2 or 3
guitar that
months
you pretty much like? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, please.
I was going to say what. You've got a lot, a shockingly large amount of very unique looks. I mean, these are when you're scrolling through Instagram or something, going like, you see things that you recognize, and you're like, yep. Boom. What? I haven't seen this. You have most of your guitars are like that, which I can't applaud you enough for that.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just curious, like, with all the people that we're interviewing and talking with, there seems to be like, the one that kind of puts them on the map, or like it goes like, well, I had like 50 people checking this out, and now I got 300. What?
Right.
So what is that design that did that for you?
It's probably, we have one, the guitars, there's one that's kind of based pretty heavily on a Gibson non-reverse Firebird.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, if you look on the site, there's kind of some flat top ones, which would be the chambered ones, and then there's a few with sort of like a very heavy bevel on the top. And that one seems to have had the best response so far, because it's I love non-reverses.
Is it the Bitterbird?
Yeah, the Bitterbird. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah,
and that one,
it's really weird. The one with a really heavy bevel. I must have looked at that like gone past it and said, wait a minute, it was playing with my eyeballs. And that one is called the Rye and Rye, is it not?
No, that's this one, I think.
Oh, sorry. The bitter. Okay, so the one with the really, really heavy bevel. And now, granted, we're talking about...
that one's the Bitterbird, yeah.
Okay, the Bitterbird. So those of you who are familiar with the Instagram feed, or happen to be looking at the computer right now, that is the very unmistakable one that has a very heavy bevel up on the top, like a forearm bevel, but it's just really exaggerated, and has a short tuxedo style. Pick guard with a single P90 and 2 humbuckers. Are those?
It's the junior. I'm assuming that's the juniors with just the P90.
Yes.
Okay.
And those are full. Is it full range, wide range?
Wide range.
Those are wide range pickups.
Yeah, those ones. Those are actually those are Roadhouse wide range slug buckers.
Okay.
And they're really great. They're sort of kind of a lower wind. Super. They have a lot of clarity. They're not like I sometimes am I'm not the biggest PAF person in the world. Like I like a good amount of clank out of a guitar.
Yep.
So I tend to like the lower wind stuff, and Ken at Roadhouse does a really great job.
Some of the things that I just want to touch on, and maybe this will spark a couple conversation points here, but you mentioned you have a really minimal design, and we also mentioned there's definitely some hot rod culture that's inextricably tied to guitars, no matter what. Like, doesn't matter what kind of guitar you look at, you can see a car in that.
Yeah.
But I think your approach, you've taken. It's like you took off all the obvious things and focused on the least obvious, and then sort of said, how can I do that different? I mean, simply, if you just look at your pickguard shapes alone, like, those are completely and utterly unique.
Oh, thank you.
At least that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but...
Yeah, and the way they're inverted, the shape, they were inversely shaped to the body.
Yeah, it looks like it wouldn't work. Like if you just had all the pieces laying there, you'd be like, what? And then
More
you put it together and
aesthetic.
like, holy hell.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like just even the tail piece, one that you recently did, you had like a flat plate, a very long tail piece that was like brushed aluminum. I think on like is that like a shell pink?
I know.
It's got the gold
on
neck.
a cream one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like when we were talking about the repairs earlier. That was part of that because they're the Gibson, the Maestro Vibrolas.
Yeah.
Like I love those, but it's so hard to find one that works properly. You know?
Yeah.
Like you can find an old vintage one, and the leaf spring on there is generally pretty sturdy, but a lot of the reissues, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yeah.
And I just love the way that they look, and it's part of that. You can kind of, with an offset, there's so much space that sometimes when it's empty behind the bridge, it just looks like something's missing.
Yeah.
So it's, the functionality of it isn't. It's really sort of just hiding the string block.
Yeah.
But I just.
So that's a vibrato then.
No, it isn't. No.
No, it's just
It gives it that vintage look.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to tell me that that was actually a vibrato underneath that, and then I was going to lose my mind.
There's
on the back. You got to push it with your knee.
Yeah. There's a little knee lever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the first one is actually kind of an accident. Like the cream one it's on the website.
Yeah.
There's a cavity underneath, which originally the customer wanted a fuzz circuit in.
Oh.
So that was kind of a hiding place for it.
Interesting.
But in the end up, they decided they didn't want to go that route.
Yeah.
But it's one of those happy accidents where. I just ended up really liking that tailpiece.
Yeah. Well, so I know this is kind of turning into the Todd gushing on Lincoln guitars.
All right, I'll ask a question.
Please ask it because I'm going to keep going.
You will.
So somebody's going to have to stop me.
The thing I noticed was the position of the volume and tone controls and pickup switch, or they're all like recessed back where you normally wouldn't find them. Out of the way, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, that was I'm kind of a very ham-fisted guitar player. Like I tend to just kind of attack the thing and accidentally hit knobs and accidentally hit switches.
You and me both, man.
Yeah, it's all like I've always wanted a Strat, but anytime I get one, I'm just constantly hitting that volume knob, which I know is in a convenient place for kind of like sweet swells. But I've never been coordinated enough to pull those off.
Right.
Yeah, because that's sitting back like what, about 4 or 5 inches from where you normally have your hands situated.
Yeah, it's
a ways back.
A little bit far. Yeah, and a lot of it, but it's sort of when you kind of drop your arm, it tends to land in kind of a natural location.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm going to gush a little bit more real quick.
It's not your turn.
So, sorry, no, Jared, go.
Yeah, so when I go to a guitar shop and I see some, handmade guitars that brands that I've never seen before, and I'm like, oh, check these out. The first thing I notice and what I look for when I pick one of these guitars up, a foreign guitar in my mind, is the weight. That's the first thing I look at when I buy a guitar, electric guitar, is the weight. So, what's the average weight of these guitars?
If something without a mastery vibrato, I try to shoot for 6.5 pounds.
Wow.
And that's the Jazzmaster type ones, the Gin. That has kind of a full body depth, the 1 3/4, but they're just really, really chambered out. With the Bitterbirds, because the body's so big, it's actually 1.5 inches as far as the depth goes. But I just feel like 6.5, 7 pounds. That's kind of always felt like kind of a Goldilocks area for me.
Right.
It's just like it's heavy enough to not feel flimsy, and it's not an anchor.
So Jared, you like a heavy guitar? Is that what you're implying?
No.
You like super light guitars?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
That's so weird because you're huge.
Well, I don't know. I just do.
He likes little small
I don't
guitars.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe,
So you can crush
maybe
it
they
if you need
resonate
to.
better, or I don't know. No, it's mostly because I have a bad back and I
Okay.
used to
Right.
gig out in
Makes
4
sense.
hours with a heavy guitar on
Yeah.
your shoulder.
Right.
That stinks.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah. If you've had a Les Paul custom for any amount of time,
70s.
yeah, it's you have 13 pounds on your shoulder. I mean, they look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, on your site, you show how you chamber most of those things. So it's not just that you're choosing a lightweight wood. I mean, you're going to great lengths to eliminate weight, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to ask was, what I noticed, the first thing I noticed when I looked at your site was you really have a brand here. You have like a good brand. Like all of these guitars, even though you've got several different body types, like when I see one, I'm like, this is the same guitar as
rare
the other one
these days.
And so I wanted to commend you on. So now I'm gushing.
I really appreciate that.
The discipline.
It's nice to know that kind of translates.
Yeah.
I like them being congruous was like a really big deal. It's years and years of sort of, when I start a guitar company, it's going to be like this.
Yeah.
And it's, there was some kind of failed design attempts along the way. And it's really kind of bolstering to know that you feel like they're congruous.
Yeah. Well, you got at least two of the people here that you got one maker of things. You have a researcher and thinker of things in Jay, and then Jeff and I we come from a design background. So I mean, when we're talking about the small things that you're checking out, it's like the little decisions that you're choosing, just even like just a painted back, something that most people aren't going to see. But like the latest one, okay, so the first I was just like, okay, the flat top offset, I can't remember the name of it. You got to tell me the name of this guitar. With the Jared, what are those pickups?
Those are like a DeArmond style pickup.
DeArmond style pickups with a Bigsby on it. What is the name of that guitar?
It's a gin.
The gin. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're all named after booze.
Okay, nice. When I first saw that one's the one that I lost my mind on. Okay, and then I was like, guys, and then I saw the Bitterbird, and I was like, oh, dang it, guys, look at this. And then you come out and you drop that silver. I think it's a silver. It's the one with the tuxedo style, the short. Oh shoot, where is it? Yeah, it looks like a Bitterbird, but it doesn't have the bevel.
Oh, it's with the red back.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, thank you.
That dang near killed me on the spot. And you got a clear plexi pick guard.
Yeah.
Good Lord, look at that thing. Oof.
But when you're talking like aesthetic,
I need a cigarette or something.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Trying to figure out a guitar aesthetic, like I've dreamed about it, played with it.
We've all done that. Everybody, we've all done that. The people who are listening, that you've created a guitar in your head. We've done an episode specifically on that. Go ahead, Jeff.
So finding a shape, it's got to be hard to do. I mean, challenging. First of all, finding a shape that you can say looks unique or different in the industry, and then making sisters and brothers of that resemble each other, that fit in a family.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, that sounds like an interesting challenge. And I imagine you probably went through like hundreds of different designs, or did you nail it? Like you had it in your head the whole time?
No, not at all. No, there's so much stuff that got scrapped.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took some doing.
Yeah.
But,
well, so here's another thing that like, I'm going to sound like an idiot. Like,
no, that's
I mean, I already have. I love the painted headstock. That's sweet. It's like you don't see a whole lot of those anymore.
Yeah.
I like the painted headstock, and
thanks.
The I think I mentioned this on one other episode. You've come up a few times in our episodes, but before we started this, I think this may be about 2 years ago. I told Jeff, we worked together, and I said, oh man, I was messing around last night, and I got an idea for what I want to do with my Telecaster, and I said I want to switch. I want to put the inlays from 3 to 9 all the way up, on the sixth position, and I want from 12 back on the first position. And then what happens? What do I see?
yeah.
And I was like,
There it
no,
is.
he
Right.
did it.
Right. No, it makes sense. That's kind of where you're staring, you know?
Right.
Yeah. No, I can't take credit for that. I had seen that on a base somewhere forever ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that has been, I have seen that at some level. I mean, Billy Sheehan's bass, he kind of does that on his, except he's got massive block inlays.
Right.
Those cutouts.
But yeah, so that just all that stuff in concert, it was just like it's one really great decision after another, and that's why I think they just captivated us. And recently on your Instagram feed and Facebook too, you've been able to feature a few prominent folks out there who are touring with your guitars, which is really cool to see, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, it's no, that's really great. I mean, it's the kind of the whole point of them is that they get gigged, and then that just makes me really happy. It's they're just out and on the road.
Yeah.
Actually the one that you were talking about that you said that you initially were very fond of, the black one.
That's putting
with the
it
red
mildly, but
you can. That one went to Dan from Wolf Parade.
right.
And I'm so happy it went to him.
Yeah. They sound fantastic. I mean,
Thanks.
yeah.
And what about the one? There's one with a volume knob in the middle.
In the center of that vibrato.
Yeah,
thing.
let me find that one. That was
The red
really unique.
Oh, it was the red and had the kind of cream pickguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
He's making fun of me. Oh, wait, there it is. Right there. Yeah.
Yeah, is that a mini? It's a mini humbucker gold foil. Or is
Yeah,
a
that
full
one's
size?
that's another Roadhouse one. That's like kind of a copy of a Japanese gold foil.
Yeah,
Interesting.
like a Taisco or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, the knobs on the kind of behind the bridge. That was something I was hoping would work out better than it did. I think because I had the knob and the jack on there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of got concerned about the acrylic cracking just from sort of wear and tear on the jack.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to give it another whirl again with aluminum. I think that'll be kind of more sort of hard wearing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would look pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Or oh man, spun. Although I don't know that. Yeah, anyways, what I'm telling you. Oh yeah, I should try this.
Got another idea for you.
Spun aluminum. That'd be. But that that fits for the. I'm just saying. Anyways, so talk to us a little bit about how you're going about crafting these things. I obviously there's some. I think there's some generally understood notions of how one goes about building these guitars, but maybe talk about a few of the things that you have either taken and maybe done your own way without giving up any of your secret sauce. Is it have you found a unique way to do the necks or headstock position, whatever?
It's like shockingly low tech over here. It's a lot of the building, it's still pretty template based, but I'm not really doing anything. It's all by hand, kind of to a fault almost, where it's the necks are carved by hand. I wish I could figure out a way to do that more quickly without a CNC. But in the end I just end up, shaving it away kind of old fashioned with a rasp.
Don't make apologies for that. That's just the idea of having an actual handcrafted instrument like that, where you're doing that. That's fantastic.
It's nice. It kind of opens it up a little bit for neck profiles that people would want.
Right.
Like I'm doing one right now where the guy wanted the biggest neck possible, just a huge 1-inch baseball bat neck.
He can borrow my SG if he wants.
Nice. That's what he's going for.
Jeez.
But,
So what is
yeah,
it?
but it. everything's by hand. Even a lot of the metal work, I'm just filing away and drilling holes, and it would be nice to laser cut some things, but it's not in the cards right this second.
Yeah.
So what is your style of neck is it one style that you use on all guitars that you put together, or do you alternate?
The standard one, if someone doesn't have a preference, it's fairly close to kind of, just a US Fender neck, sort of just a modern C shape.
I'm trying to feel it in my mind.
Yeah.
What does that feel like?
Feel it in your mind's eye.
Yes.
Just something comfy, nothing too shouldered or V'd. I'm part of what I'm trying to go for is that you kind of don't have to think about the guitar when you're playing it. So some of the ergonomic stuff came into that, like with that bitter bird, that giant bevel. It's just so, it feels fairly fluid.
Yeah.
The other thing I notice about these, I see influences or remnants of other guitars, but it's never like feels stolen. Like it's like an Ibanez headstock a little bit. It reminds me of
like a Roadstar.
Yeah, a little bit. And then then obviously the Gibson pieces were some influence on you, but yet they look like it looks like a different. Like I can see that if I think about it, but I don't like see it right away. It takes a minute for me to process your influences.
It feels
cool.
It doesn't feel so alien that you're just like, wait a minute,
familiar
reject.
somehow.
There's a familiarity that is there, but it's so not in your face.
Yeah. No, I think that's important. I feel like the decisions we make as far as buying a guitar, it's not. It's very sort of sentimental and nostalgic,
Sure
like there's guitars I love, and one of those is a Roadstar and the Jazzmaster and the Non-Reverse, and I'm happy to kind of reference them. And there were some original guitars that I just feel that I feel like just got way too weird, way too fast. And some of the subtraction is just and sort of is on myself as far as having something that doesn't feel alien, like you were saying.
I think it's extremely intelligent because number one, people do think of Jazzmasters or Firebirds or whatever, but at the same time, that's a Lincoln guitar. And when you sell your guitars, or celebrities or pros get a hold of these and they're on TV or in a video, Lincoln guitar is what you see. I know a lot of other builders I deal with, build pickups for or whatever. A lot of them just do the same old Strat copy, same old Tele copy, because that's what people want. But when you see this, Lincoln, it's great. And at the same time, you've got remnants of older styles and things like that. I think they're pretty attractive myself.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking about, you remember how we had a conversation not too long ago? We were talking about custom, when we were talking about custom build guitars, and we were thinking about basses, really. Todd and I, you and I were of the same mind. Fischer, you were against us on this, but we were.
It didn't have exotic wood.
Yeah,
so
like
forget about it.
These are like, well, they're hand built, but they don't have like 16 pieces of wood with coloring, and it looks. What am I trying to say? These don't look super duper crazy expensive, but they look like they would feel like totally simplistic and perfect.
Yeah, we're
they
here.
look like they have good balance too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like
You're still there, right, Derek?
Yeah. You're cut out for a second.
Drop for a second. Like they don't look audacious and I'm trying to look like a custom guitar, but but then they are kind of like their own thing.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
They're right in the pocket,
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the more than anything, that's exactly kind of what I was kind of going for. Just sort of a utility object.
Right.
I have friends and I build guitars for people that kind of get to the point where they become sort of almost too precious.
Yeah.
They live in a walk-in humidor and they don't really see the light of day that much.
Yeah.
And I want them to get beat up and kind of dragged across stages and have kind of rock and roll occur on them.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
It's what they're for.
Yeah. Well, and they, as nice as they look, they sound it. What am I trying to say?
I have no idea.
It's like they're screaming to be played like really loud. Like I look at that thing, I'm like, damn, turn the volume up on that now, right?
Yeah.
You referenced the hot rod culture earlier, and Jay, to your point, it's like when you see something that looks like, I think of some of the Pontiacs, the Trans Am models and the Camaro models and stuff, where you're just, and the Firebird
T-top.
Yeah, it's like you look at them and you're just like, there's nothing you didn't put on this car, and it looks ridiculous,
Right.
Unless you happen to own one, don't come after me. But and then or like trucks. There's some people get trucks and they stop in at O'Reilly Auto Parts where they go, give it all to me, and they just like 500 reflectors on
XLT
there.
Lariat.
Yeah, the Lariat. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Anyways, the difference between that, or even if if you go to a hot rod show and you see, okay, yeah, man, you've managed to put every kind of cliched hot rod thing on your car, and then right next to it is something with totally shaved handles, dechromed, and you're just like, whoa, okay, wait a minute, that doesn't have everything, but it still looks super custom. That's what I think of when I'm looking at these.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
No, that's definitely what we're going for. It's like when someone orders a guitar, generally the first email they get from me, one of the questions is, what's the least amount you need to make it happen?
Yeah.
And then we kind of work from there, because it's that thing of, it's a lot of times you don't need 3 pickups, and you don't need phase switching, and you don't need
less
a lot of times you don't need Bigsby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's probably tough because these are all handmade and you've conceived them all, but do you have one that you're just like, this is, if you got to pick one as your baby, what is that? And if you don't want to say, that's okay. But
oh man, that silver one with the red back.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that one was my jam. I don't. I currently don't own one of my guitars, which is kind of hilarious.
That is weird.
Yeah. They all went. So eventually, one of these days, I'm going to build myself a guitar, and I think I'm just going to do that silver one over again.
That is, Jared's losing his mind on the white. What's bitter?
It's unfinished.
Yeah, white unfinished bitter with the gold hardware.
I was looking at it and I saw that pickguard and I'm like, does he have those underneath pickups under that pickguard? And then I looked at it, had no. It's just not finished.
Yeah, it was a early assembly.
Yeah.
Oh, the a week ago maybe.
Oh, and you did do so. So one of the things I was going to ask you, okay, in this image that we're looking at, and everybody can go to Instagram, Lincoln Guitars Instagram, and you can see what we're talking about. But I think you were doing like a test assembly to does this work? And you've got like an Olympic white with a white pickguard and gold hardware on maple fretboard and a reverse headstock. And I was going to ask, we've talked a lot about your design, and you have some very distinct decisions that you've made and that have somewhat been carried through your guitars. Are these things that you're like, nope, these are sticking now, I'm not going to keep changing it, I'm going to let it ride? Or are you going to be continuing to evolve those major things like the headstock shape?
I think, as far as the reverse headstocks go, I'm okay with those. I'm pretty happy with the headstock shape, but as far as the rest of it, I'm totally fine with it being sort of as malleable as possible.
We got you. Did we lose you? Don't say.
For a long time, I got sort of hung up on the idea of Hello?
Yep, we're there.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hey, sorry. No, I was saying, yeah, I got sort of hung up on the idea of like a flagship guitar, that just had to be perfect and kind of represent everything. And, I've sort of slowly gotten over that as time's gone on. But yeah, for the most part, it's everything's kind of in progress.
I mean, just that right there. I think the fact that you are building these one-offs and have had the wherewithal, I don't know if it's wisdom or, just sound state of mind to say, I'm not married to one of these. I don't have to have the one that's like, no, this is my one. Right. I can't change ever. That takes a lot of discipline, creative discipline. That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's a really it's kind of a hard thing to let go of. It was when I worked for Michael at Spalt. One of the things he had said to me, because he just watching that guy work was kind of amazing, because he would just slowly and without much fanfare just get things done. And I was talking to him about design stuff and how I've been kind of hung up on, just my own guitar things. And he was talking about how it sort of doesn't really matter. It's kind of that the guitars can change from the original idea as long as sort of the guitar that you're currently working on, like when it goes out, that's the best guitar you've ever made.
Yeah, I get that.
And that it's just this kind of ongoing learning process.
Yeah.
And I've kind of tried to stick to that.
That's cool. Now, one thing we really haven't touched on is Lincoln guitars. What's that all about?
Oh, I'm from Chicago.
Okay. Lincoln Park? Is that?
No. I kind of liked how vague and industrial it sounded.
Oh, okay.
Because Asuan-O Brien guitars, has a nice ring to it, but I kind of like the vagueness, the just kind of the industrial aspect of it. There's like Lincoln Electric and Lincoln Tool and Die.
Yeah, it's a trusty thing. It's like anything that the name Lincoln is usually attached to is like. Yeah, this is
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln. Oh, it was also attached to this idea that I ended up completely scrapping, which was that the original headstock had a penny inlaid in the logo, or in the headstock.
Yeah, we saw one of those.
Yeah, and I was going to do some relict ones, and it was depending on the year, like how relict it was supposed to be, you'd have a corresponding penny.
Wow.
So like it was like 50 years of like heavy wear. I'd try to find like a 54 penny. Or, if it had kind of a neon paint job, I was going to put like an 87.
Wow, that's an interesting play. And you didn't do that?
I think I did 4 with the penny headstock.
So those are collector items now.
Those are collector items now, yeah. And the idea just became too precious. So
yeah, I get it.
It was one of those things I just had to kind of ditch.
Was that something that maybe you picked up? I'm sorry, I forget the name of the guy that does the acrylic inlays.
Oh, the Michael Spalt?
Yeah.
Probably. It was it must have been sort of the found object kind of aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. It's weird. It's hard to not continue. We just keep looking at all the pictures while we're sitting here talking to get a visual. But are you? I guess where are you headed as far as are you going to still continue to just kind of knock these 1 to 2 out a month? Are you looking at growing, expanding, or do you have any special builds in the future? What's up for you?
I'm pretty happy with the production rate right now. Like it's knowing that I can have hands on kind of every instrument that goes out the door it's really important. Eventually down the line, I'd like to make some cheaper guitars, like maybe CNC'd, and with similar design things.
Yeah.
Just because it's that thing of you think like the working man can't get a $2,500 guitar,
right?
And
right.
if I could do something for $800 or $900, I wouldn't be opposed to it. But with all the handwork right now, it's just not. It's not viable.
Right. actually a couple more questions. So, electronics wise, are you using? Are you doing all the electronics yourself, or how's that working out for
Like
you?
wiring harnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from building the actual pickups, I'm doing all the wiring.
It's pretty tidy in there.
Oh, thank you.
Well
Yeah, I get
done.
real OCD about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the pretty much doing every component of it aside from hardware and pickups.
Man, too
So-
sweet.
So I have a question. I like the fact that you have options, like on Reverb. If somebody wants to buy something, they have all these choices and whatnot. And I kind of do the same thing. So my question to you is just, I'm wondering, what's the silliest or the most outrageous request that you've ever had?
Oh man, I end up saying no to a lot of things, just because I don't feel like they would fit with the aesthetic. It tends to fall into the category of float. It tends to fall into the like floating trim, scalloped frets. LEDs area. Sometimes all three of those at the same time.
It sounds like
so
a Uli John Roth guitar.
Pretty much. Yeah, tiger stripes.
Wow.
Like that.
Yeah.
Golly, I don't know about you guys, but has anybody else been making a custom like in their head this whole time?
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, and then it's one thing to see all the shapes, and then you got a great shot of all the paint cans, and you're just like, oh man, oof. Anyways, all right. All right, I've gushed. I've publicly gushed.
You're done.
I might be. Anyways,
Thank
all
you.
right. You bet, man. Hey, let's move to our top 4 real quick.
Oh yeah, we almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't. You did?
Yeah.
Oh man, that bums me out. I'm just kidding. All right, top 4. Our guitar knob style of choice. And you want to do your awesome top 4 thing that you did last time, Jay?
What did I do? So
You just said top 4.
top four.
Nice.
Very good job.
Okay, so guitar knob of choice. And Jeff, go.
Skull.
You bastard! I knew you were
Skull
going to do
knob.
something like that.
Love him. I want like
I know for a fact you
4
don't
skull
love them.
knobs. Oh my
Who
God.
doesn't love skull knobs?
Yeah, one person here does not love skull knobs. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Okay, what is it?
This is a tough one because I like a unique knob. I don't have any, but I like the idea of custom knobs or custom style knobs. So I'm like looking at these guitars. The knobs are unique, right? They're different. They're not the normal type of knob.
Yeah.
I love that idea. So I love the look of something that is custom or unique. And I don't really have a favorite style, but something that just is not the expected.
So metal or
dice?
plastic?
Yeah, metal, definitely metal.
Okay.
Like I love some of the custom Telecaster knobs that people have made with like the knurled metal with interesting engraving on them.
Like exotic wood inlays. Say it. Just say it.
I don't know if I like wood knobs. Don't know if I like those.
Okay. Jared.
Yeah, that's right. Jared.
You got it right.
Just like the jewelry guy.
It keeps messing me up.
No longer like the subway guy. I like chrome domes. I like those, and I'm going to elaborate too. And I like those the best when they're on a good quality pot
Yeah.
geometer. When they have a little resistance to them. That's my favorite. If
Yeah,
you were
I
to
hate
blindfold
super
me, that's what I
spinny
want.
knobs.
That's
Yeah.
what I want to feel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good. Let's go to Jay.
All right, so I'm playing Jane.
So I was thinking about the knobs.
So I'm gonna kick your ass.
I like knobs. I like to look at knobs. I like little knobs to get my baby hands on.
Oh my god, I can't even believe I'm in here with you bozos. So, I'm gonna say I'm the plain Jane because I just like flat top. The ones that came on the P base that I had, I love those. The knurled.
You guys have all said this is basically the same exact knob.
I mean, I'm not like going crazy. I mean, the knob to me, like I don't need dice or like skulls, or the knob goes it rotates, right? And so it doesn't have to be like, made out of, whale bone, or
elephant tusk.
Yeah. Please don't make it
wait
out
and
of
see where you went
tusk.
with
Those are all illegal anyways.
Right. Well,
Legal
it's scrimshaw. I don't need a scrimshaw knob. Just a metal knob with
Okay.
some friction that I can
Yeti
turn.
bone.
All right, I get you. So I will go, and then we'll wrap up with Derek. So I liked the flat top metal knurls, like on a standard telly, right? But I found when I was rolling off volume and stuff, which I had to do a lot, not for dynamics, but because I was like I was singing, so I didn't want it on the whole time. But I'd look and I was like, I don't know where I'm at. Like I can kind of feel, but then I'm like, it's different every time. Like I need to see something. I want to look down and see something. So I personally, and I like the aesthetic of these two. I like the Fender Jazz bass knobs. I actually put those on my telly, and have put them on my other telly actually after that, which had witch hats on it, and that was the custom too. So I there's something cool about the aesthetic of those. I like the chrome ones, and I like the feel of the knurl, but I'm like I could be anywhere on this thing. I don't know. So that's me. That's my choice. So Derek, what do you have?
I love those Gretsch metal knobs with the arrow on them.
Aha.
Yeah, I like how substantial they are.
Yeah,
And,
you have
you know.
substantial knobs on yours, that's for sure.
Yeah, you gotta have a substantial knob.
Yeah. Oh, you made a knob joke. Good. Yeah. All right. Hey. All right. Well, with that, we're gonna send this thing home. Derek, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you bet. We're thrilled to have you on, and hope to have you back on again at another time. And we'll make some more announcements, maybe concerning him a little bit later. Once we get the website up, you guys will see. It's really close.
Nice.
Anyhow, all right, we are out. Thank you guys so much for listening, and
Bye-bye.
what was that? Is that your sign off?
I don't know. No, that's not. It's not.
We all need a
It was like Elvis. Was I trying to be Elvis?
You made a face and everything.
So,
Thank you very much.
so bye-bye.
Oh.
I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Oh, that's it for these knobs. Please join us on Facebook.com/groups/guitar knobs and tell us what you think and share your stories and guitar stuff along with ours. You can also find us at twitter.com/guitar_knobs and also at our website at guitarknobs.podbean.com.